Silver had a massive rally in the first week of August. Everybody's excited about it, me included. But there's another metal that now looks even more interesting. We're gonna get into it right now. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Okay, I hope everybody had a good week so far. And we're gonna start with silver. So, we now have 6 up days in a row if today holds. That's a lot. If you look at the chart of 2025, you can see we never had a period. Well, actually, there's one at the very beginning of 2025. But that's about it, where we had 6 up days in a row in silver. And you can see already, well, we're not overbought at all, but you can see if you look at the wicks here, and especially if we get to the lower time frames, the 4-hour, right? You can see the wicks are getting long here, right? Everything like over 80, basically 38.60 is getting sold. So these wicks on the 4 hours tell us, okay, it's time to take a breather for silver, and that is healthy. Now, it's getting interesting with silver, right? The strength is impressive. If this holds, and let's say we correct down to this zone here around 30, 37.50, close this gap here, I can see that, 37.27-ish, and hold this, we made another higher low on silver. Very, very constructive. Nobody's really talking about gold and silver right now, but you look at the mining stocks, the silver miners really popped yesterday. Someone is positioning themselves for a silver rally. We really need to keep that in mind. Any weakness now in silver, buying opportunity. Any weakness in the miners, buying opportunity. But there's another commodity, another metal that I want to talk about right now that is more interesting than silver or gold. Shock horror, how is that possible? Well, because we're talking about copper. By now you all know Trump, basically Liberation Day 2.0, liberated a bunch of hedge funds from the leveraged copper positions. That was the copper crash. So this is an artificial incident that happened. We need to know this. This is nothing fundamental. It's not like an explorer company and it shows that they don't have the copper that they thought they would have. Nothing like this. So we basically can expect copper to at least mean revert, right? Even maybe get back up to $5,000 a ton, but one step after another. As you can see right now, and this is what I want to point out to you, nobody's talking about this right now, how constructive the last days in copper has been. Nobody's talking about copper, not even in the commodity sector, right? Nobody wants to touch it, but look at this. After we had the second flush out day, this long day, this big time red candle, we have not made lower lows. We're starting to see some first buying in the past 3 days. We see higher highs. We are still oversold. And I love to get in on a commodity, a stock, or anything like that when it's oversold territory, but the fundamentals are still strong, which is the case in copper. That's why I stressed we had an artificial reason for the sell-off, right? Now, everybody, me included, looked at this open gap right here and the lower end of the upturn and said, well, this is where we're going to go. This is the perfect position to get long on copper. And what will the market do? It usually it doesn't give you what you really want, right? It rarely happens that the perfect scenario happens. So if we look at this, if we get over this resistance zone now, which is basically 4,480 and 85, we can front run this candle. What I mean by this is most people will have a buy order in when we top this candle. So But if we break this resistance zone now, which is not big resistance, right? We're making a new high. We're already making higher lows. Then we make a higher high. That means that the dynamic is shifting, and that way we can get in before the crowd. Remember, copper, big commodity, right? The algos will be ready, the hedge funds will be ready, and they'll be faster than you and I will be. So if we want to play this, we need to front on this a little bit. There's no doubt about it. And this would be the way to play it. The other option would be to play the copper stocks. And if you saw my videos on Hercules Metals and you bought the starter position somewhere around here, you're up nicely and you're up already about 5% in a couple of days without copper doing anything. This looks really constructive. Let me zoom out and show you what I mean. Look how great this is. This is the May downtrend. We broke above it, big time up move, up to this resistance zone, then retested it. We undercut it a couple of times. That's normal with a panic in the copper market, but it held, right? Tried to undercut it here, did, closed above it. Undercut it here, closed right on it, closed right on it, closed right on it, and party time. Thank you. I mean, this is as textbook as it gets from a retest. On a technical perspective, this is a great setup. So if you were in on Hercules Metals after I send out the videos, then you're sitting pretty nicely here. Again, you know about the exploration program that they're running and that the drill results will come. And that therefore, Hercules Metals could pop even if the copper price does very little or nothing. But if the copper price also goes up, that'll obviously push up Hercules Metals with it, especially if the results are good. So that's one way to play it. That's one way how I like to play it. I don't own Hercules Metals, but this is such a constructive chart that we've seen in the past days that I'm actually thinking of opening up a position here, at least for a long trade. So if you want to be aggressive, you're getting in on anything of around 75 to 73 Canadian dollars. If you want to play more of a deeper entry game, then I would go down to like the 72 area, but that 1 cent doesn't matter, and I'd rather be in the stock around 75 to 73. I do not like the wick from yesterday, no doubt about it, but that is kind of normal, right? That happens with smaller stocks after such a decline. The overall signal stands, and that is what is most important to me. So pay close attention to copper. If you wanted to get in on copper, the metal, then I would at least think about opening up a half position right now, or let me switch back real quick to remind you what the chart looks like. Or if we break the yellow resistance zone. Because once we break the blue zone, I'm serious, we're going to move up so fast in copper, you're not going to get in. Right? So I rather try to front run this. And if we then go down and drop down to this double support zone, that if we do close this gap, if we do hit the lower end of the uptrend channel that has been in place since 2022, if we do that, okay, then I add the second half. That's it for today. I wish you a great weekend. Enjoy your time. Do something that brings you joy. Life is short. Bye-bye.